Hello everybody, welcome to the Galapagos Islands. The trip I will start today will be a trip of a lifetime. Nowhere else like in this paradise. We will be revisiting this week the footsteps of the greatest naturalist Charles Darwin. This place is so important. It's one of the ultimate paradises for biodiversity and evolution. One of the incredible traits about the wildlife in the Galapagos is how approachable they are. Nowhere else in this planet you will have that feeling, that amazing feeling to have an animal that close and they don't show concern. This is one of the main characteristics about this remote archipelago. Welcome again to the National Geographic Endeavour 2. We will have a trip of a lifetime.
So we're here at Gardner Bay of Espanola Islands, kicking off this week with a great sight. We love this place. It's quite special in that it's one of the very few white sandy beaches that we can find in Galapagos. It's kind of our first big encounter with the Galapagos sea lion. And it's quite special. They're lining the beach out here, so everybody kind of gets their own sea lion to enjoy. The Galapagos sea lion mothers spend a lot of time nurturing and nursing and really taking care of their young. So the babies will actually nurse for about 4 years or so, which is a very long time for any mammal. So sometimes we see these sea lion pups kind of looking alone on the beach by themselves, and we get a little worried. Are they okay? Where's mom? Well, the thing is that mom is typically nursing up to 4 juveniles at a time, and so that means she needs a lot of nutrient intake, so she has to go out and fish. So she'll spend some time going out and fishing, but she'll always come back to nurse her babies.
I wanted to welcome you to Espanola Island again. We are in the oldest island of the Galapagos. This island is also the closest to the continent, so the composition of animals that we have here is also different from the composition of animals that we have in the very western part of the archipelago. Yeah? What we expect to see in this walk is a few species of seabirds. Here, for example, we have one of the largest colonies of nesting Nazca boobies. There is a bird that in some months I can guarantee that we're going to see, and that bird is the wave albatross. However, from December to March, they leave these islands to feed by the coast of Peru, and we're going to see marine iguanas, sea lions for sure, and very different landscapes from the rest of the islands that we're going to see. All right, are you ready for this?
To me, this island where we are at this moment is the epitome of the Galapagos. It encompasses everything. Oh, I just love the ruggedness of it and the waves and the different features. Oh my gosh, and just being able to get so close to these animals I've dreamed and birds that I've dreamed of seeing. So to me, this is just a highlight and a dream come true.
Okay, this is huge, guys. Get in here. You have to see this because I've never seen this many flamingos in Galapagos, ever. Guess how many flamingos we have in total in Galapagos?
42?
Close, around 400.
Oh,
So
that's not close at all, actually.
we are looking at about 10% of the total population of flamingos in Galapagos, which is pretty amazing. So these flamingos move around from lagoon to lagoon in the archipelago. We have about 40 different lagoons, and they migrate depending on food availability. Yeah, so they're going after these little crustaceans, and those are, of course, the little animals that give them their bright pink color. So what we're looking at over here, guys, as I mentioned, all of these divots are sea turtle nests. The Galapagos archipelago is really special habitat for the Pacific green sea turtle. We have the largest number of nesting females in the entire eastern tropical Pacific. We have at least 4,000 to 5,000 nesting individuals, and that's only being recorded from 2 beaches in Galapagos, where it's estimated that about 40% of all the beaches in Galapagos are nesting sites for the green sea turtle. We're here at Post Office Bay, and it's a beautiful day to go kayaking and paddleboarding.
We saw turtles in the water, listening to sea lions bark. It's so much fun.
Oh my God, there's nothing more fun than playing with sea lions. When they notice you, when they go under your boat or they look at you, you just want to take them home. Every place else, they just become close. So this is really amazing. It's very magical.
So look at this fancy structure here. Well, this is what we call the post office barrel, and it's the oldest post office in Latin America. Can you believe that? This comes from the 19th century, from the whalers. So the way this works, even now, when we visit this place, we always have a look of the postcards that we find inside there, and we're going to read the postcard's direct address. And if you live close to that place, the idea is that you take it with you back home, so we help to continue the tradition of the post office barrel.
Canada, Calgary.
We'll take lime.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, wow.
Our son
That was quick.
is near there.
Awesome. Okay, anybody?
Abaco, the Bahamas.
Santa Cruz, California.
Minnesota.
We're in California.
Santa Cruz.
Ocean Springs, Missouri. Is that Mississippi?
Deline, Brighton, Colorado. Here's your postcard. It's coming.
This one is Point Claire, Quebec.
So please go ahead and put your postcards in here.
Postcards, I seem to have left mine on the bed.
Post office is closed.
The marine environment of the Galapagos Islands is incredibly unique. Our snorkel excursions are such an amazing way to get to know the archipelago. I don't think you can really get to know Galapagos without exploring the underwater realm of these islands. The archipelago is sitting at the confluence of 3 different currents that bring different things to specific areas of the archipelago. So the unique current system of Galapagos is really what allows us to find cold water species right alongside warm water species. This is really the only place in the world where we witness such unique marine assemblages. One of the most commonly found schooling fish in Galapagos is the razor surgeonfish. They're quite striking in color, but they also have some really great adaptations. So they have 3 modified scales that sit at the base of the tail, and they're oriented outward. And this is where the razor surgeonfish gets its name, the razor surgeonfish. This allows the fish to defend itself against predators. We have quite a variety of rays in Galapagos. One of the most commonly found rays is the diamond stingray, which we saw several times this week. There's just something incredibly graceful about the way that these stingrays glide through the water column. The Galapagos marine environment is, to me, one of the most interesting and unique marine environments on the planet, and the Galapagos archipelago just wouldn't be the same without it.
Today we're visiting one of the most important and famous scientific institutions in the whole world. We're visiting today the Charles Darwin Research Station. This institution was established back a long ago in the 60s, in the early 60s in the Galapagos, and since that they have been providing scientific advice to the Ecuadorian government, which is represented by the Galapagos National Park Service. One of the most important and significant programs of the Charles Darwin Research Station is the repatriation, incubation of baby tortoises to be sent back to the islands they belong. Unfortunately, in the past, these animals were almost decimated. Many of them were removed from the islands to be used as food. We want to restore the dynasty of the giant tortoises in these islands. Super Diego, beautiful nickname for an animal that was found in the San Diego Zoo in California. He was living there for 42 years and nobody noticed that he was from a very different race. He is from the island of Española. Very few of them were left there, only 14 animals left. His tortoise number 15. He came back to Ecuador and he is a reproduction machine. Now he's the proud father of more than 3,000 tortoises. He's a symbol for conservation. One of the most famous tortoises was Lonesome George. Unfortunately, he passed away several years ago, but he's a symbol for conservation because he is the last one from a particular island. So he is here for posterity, he's living at the station nowadays, and we have to remember his legacy.
We are visiting the highlands of Santa Cruz, and we had a little social taste of the islands by visiting a sugarcane press. So we visited a small farm established in the 1940s. It's family run. So a small family, Mr. Adriano Cabrera, actually runs a small sugarcane alcohol production, Galapagos coffee roasting production, and as well as chocolate and brown raw sugar.
This is how they make it. They put it here as well as the sugar. They let it dry a bit.
Another product you can actually get out of the sugarcane juice is cane syrup or molasses, where you squeeze the juice out of sugarcane and then you boil it. You evaporate the water off of it, and in the end you have cane syrup. This little farm has about 4 acres of Galapagos coffee. They pick the cherries when they're red, then they dry them under the sun for about a month, roll them back and forth, and then they dehusk them. Once they get rid of the husk, then the most important processing comes along, which is roasting. We learn about processing the sugarcane juice into alcohol, where we squeeze the juice out of the sugarcane with a homemade sugarcane press, and we actually ferment it, and then we go through the process of distillation. This is pure sugarcane rum, and we had a little taste of it actually. It's got quite a kick. It was about 120 proof.
Arriba. Abajo. Al centro. Y una meneadita y para adentro.
It's fiery.
It burns all the way down.
Just like Jack Nicholson would do. Nick, Nick, Nick.
See? Recojo el codo y adentro todo.
What happens to the babies once they hatch down there? They have to come up here, right?
So the tortoises here are really great. They're these big, giant, Jurassic looking, and they probably are Jurassic tortoises, but they're so friendly and have such a great personality. And they almost look like they're smiling, you know. I mean, I would be too if I was eating grass all day. It's really just been kind of an awesome experience to see these, you know, gentle giants, essentially.
It's been absolutely incredible seeing these ancient creatures from the past thriving here in the Galapagos.
These guys, they eat all the time, but they aren't picky. They just eat whatever is as close as possible, and when they can't quite reach it, they stretch their neck out all the way, and then you can tell they get kind of grumpy that they have to move, and they ate all the grass around them. But they eat, and they just clear this path.
Just like me.
Coming to the Galapagos has been a bucket list dream trip for us. We're so happy to be able to do this with Lindblad and National Geographic, which has really taken all the considerations to make sure that we have the smallest impact as possible in the Galapagos. I mean, this cluster of islands is really very special and very unique, and we need to do everything we can to preserve it.
And I think especially to educate us too about the effects and the importance of conservation, and to see it up close. We read about it, we hear about it. Until you see it, you really start to appreciate what the effects are for conservation.
All right, we are at that Major right now, shooting a beautiful, spectacular afternoon with wine tasting with our guests up here to the tumbler.
at Bartolome Island, and it's a great day to talk about geology and get a good glimpse at some of these really interesting geological formations that we can find here. A lot of people are reminded of Mars when they first set foot on Bartolome Island. The landscape is incredibly desolate. It is just pure lava rock, almost entirely bare, for the exception of some really weedy pioneer plants such as Tequilia and the lava cactus. We made our way up the stairs and put in the work in order to get to the top and enjoy our reward, which was this incredible, iconic view of the pinnacle rock of Bartolome Island.
The main bridge rocks, and one of those rocks actually has a lagoon where flamingos live.
Thank you so much. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
The light was just perfect at Bartolome, and we got a great view of all the different colors of these tropical fish species in Galapagos. So it's quite common for different fish species to change their physical appearance over their life cycle. The Panamanic Sargent Major is quite cool in this way. The males actually turn bright blue when they're ready to breed, and the females remain that classic yellow and black striped. The Galapagos Islands are home to about 33 different species of sharks. We happen to have the sharkiest water in the entire world. One of the most commonly observed shark species that we see in Galapagos is the white-tipped reef shark. Now, sharks are the top predators in the marine food web, which means that they're going to regulate what happens to all the lower level species in a marine ecosystem. The abundance of sharks in any marine ecosystem is a great indicator for the health of that marine ecosystem. And in Galapagos, we definitely have sharks in abundance. How strange is it to find penguins on the equator? And whoever said that penguins can't fly? They're like jet planes in the water column. They can fly at speeds of up to 30 miles an hour. And they're not just fast, they're very agile in the water, and they need to be in order to catch their very elusive prey. What the Galapagos marine environment really teaches us is how this wildlife and how these marine ecosystems can truly thrive if we simply protect them and learn more about them.
So we usually, most of the times around this time is when they come back from feeding.
They jump on the closest rock to the water, and then they walk all the way to their nesting area. Cuatro pingüinos. Cuatro. Yeah, they just came back from work. Time for a movie, for a black and white movie. Let's see, so you can clearly see on the two higher up, they're adults. You see that white line? Okay, and the other on the left, that's a juvenile. So there's 3 adults and 1 juvenile right here.
Oh, they are so cute. I love the
dots.
penguins.
I love the dots.
They are so cute.
This morning we just landed at Darwin Bay. This is the one natural landing there is inside of the bay here at Genovesa Island, and it's bird paradise. There is huge numbers of great frigate birds around, and it's the very first time that our guests get to experience the red-footed booby. Red-footed boobies are the smallest of the 3 species that are found in the Galapagos Islands. They are the most pelagic of the 3. They spend their life out at sea and only come back to shore to nest. Genovesa is probably the biggest red-footed boobery in the world. Frigate birds are some of the biggest flying birds in the Galapagos. Despite their large wingspan, they're super light. They're super agile in the wing, and they famously harass other seabirds for food. They're kleptoparasites, as they're called, and they're incredibly prodigious on places like Genovesa. Frigate birds are some of the biggest flying birds in the Galapagos. Despite their large wingspan, they're super light. They're super agile in the wing, and they famously harass other seabirds for food. They're kleptoparasites, as they're called, and they're incredibly prodigious on places like Genovesa. Genovesa, the bird island, is probably one of the most impressive places for us to come and finish our expedition here in the Galapagos Islands. This is really one of the most impressive sights you can have on these magical archipelago.
Galapagos has been an amazing adventure. You know, when I signed up for this trip, I really had no expectations because I really had no idea what to expect. But I can tell you that every single day gave me some kind of momentous memory that I will hold with me to the end of my days. And just when I think day 1 is so fantastic, day 2 just gets better, and day 3 just gives me another memory that makes it even better, and day 4 just makes another memory, and it just grows and it grows. And by the end of the week, I'm so happy that I actually chose to come to this trip, and I feel very fortunate and very humbled to do so. And it is without a doubt given me memories that I will hold with me until the end of my days.
All right. There you, I love it.
Now, can you lift it? Are you strong enough?